Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for more Dota 2 action. Welcome to the WePlay Dota 2 League. It's going to be Navi versus Poseidon, former VP mix, I guess you could call it.
Poseidon.
Poseidon.
Yeah. Holy shit, it's hot.
It's a best of two format. Navi 2-0 in the group, but very early for them, and only the top two teams are going to be advancing. The one team that's looking good right now is rox.kis. They are 4-0 in the group. Fnatic potentially in a little bit of danger here. Did drop some games earlier. We could actually take a look at the group standings real quickly, and then we'll hop into the draft as it is just now getting started. We are over in Group D. 6 teams have already been guaranteed to advance to the playoffs. The top 2 from the previous 3 groups, but you look at Fnatic, 0-2. A team that, you know, did well at TI3. People would kind of assume would move on, but hey, you show up flat, have a few bad games, maybe you don't.
Yeah, Fnatic, I think ever since TI3, they're playing quite flat. Lately, they've been on an uprise, but not good enough against, I think, Poseidon, or was it rox.kis yesterday? So they fall in 2-0. I actually don't think they will make it out of this group. I think we're going to see Poseidon or rox.kis playing it out here for the second spot.
I guess the question is it possible Navi doesn't make it out? Is there any chance? But we'll hold that thought. Let's hop into the draft. It's time for game 1 of a 2-game set. Navi is going to be on the dire side. And, well, you got your Abaddon. We were talking about Abaddon tree earlier. Are we going to see the tree?
Abidon? I hope Navi don't do something. This is what Gods and I call him.
Let me stop.
Since you weren't here, man, we were having a lot of fun with these hero names.
Oh, since I wasn't here, you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, like I would have stopped you from having the fun.
Yeah, man. It's like it's like, stop, Lumi. You're having too much fun.
I resent that.
All right. So for the love of God, I hope Navi don't do Abaddon tree because like I feel like you're using all your skill to press living armor. Come on.
Yeah, that would be a triple melee lineup as well against the Lifestealer. But hey, you have living armor and aphotic shield.
And Surge.
Yeah. So I don't think we're going to see that, but you never know. It's very early. Weaver gets banned out by Poseidon. Navi, just so many options with this opening. Obviously, it can be a very aggressive lineup, but if they want to sit back and farm, they definitely have that option.
Well, the option of a melee carry kind of goes out the window when you have Abaddon as a melee support. Unless they want to run some Abaddon carry, which...
Unless you want to run a TC as your carry.
Or
Bulba,
ET, man.
Yeah, in the Liquid versus Alliance series, I mean, Bulba showed that Lifestealer is not really that tanky if he's fighting against Natural Order.
That's true. Yeah.
Even with something like an Armlet, the hero just melts, so...
Yeah,
of course, Bulba was getting haste runes, DD runes, he's like a personal rune factory, but...
Not many heroes are tanky when you're playing against... Natural Order, but so far the hero's not being kind of drafted. I think he fits quite well with Elder Titan, or sorry, with Darkseer, the AOE combo. But
and yeah, I'm just looking at these bans from Poseidon. They actually ban out the puck themselves. Generally, we're seeing a lot of teams that go Lifestealer want to take the puck, but showing some respect towards Dendy, don't want to give it away.
I think a possibility of
and then the Havost Weaver as well, which has been his go-to as of late.
I think a possibility of is getting themselves Storm, or setting up themselves for a Storm, and then kind of basically remove all the annoying laners. Weaver actually is really good against the Storm on the mid lane, so they take that one away, and so it's the same thing as Puck.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's Navi, there's Havost, so you got to figure maybe they're worried about the Havost Weaver in general, and as we've seen, does quite well against Lifestealer. So options are still open here. Is there any chance that we see something really weird from Navi? There's always a chance, I guess I should say, because they do that. So anything that comes to mind for you if they're going to be weird?
That goes back to what you asked me earlier. We'll see Alchemist. Like, is Navi going to lose any game in this group?
Yeah.
Because traditionally in the past, Navi's one of those teams that's like, small group stage. Whatever, let's just, half-ass it, make it pass, and worry about it later.
Yeah, they're like the smart kid in class who just does the bare minimum, stays in the top half of the group, and then come finals, then they turn up the heat.
Right, so I think Navi of late, or at least so far, has been playing pretty serious Dota. So to answer your question, are we going to see some Plus Seekers? No, we're probably not. We're going to see standard stuff.
I saw, when we were talking about this earlier, it did come to mind that Dendy did play a Lone Druid, but you don't think that was having fun. You think that's a serious one.
Well, he was having fun getting like more denies than an OD against him, and OD literally got absolutely defecated on. That's some fun.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun, actually.
Yeah, no, it was not fun at all.
So Poseidon picks up a Visage. Great burst damage for them. Obviously, very strong pushing lineup. They don't really have much that can deal with a Darkseer in lane, particularly, aside from the Chen. Visage, Lifesteal, you can harass him a bit, but they can't really keep him out of lane. And now Navi getting a bit aggressive. Enchantress pick up. I mean, now we're looking at all sorts of Q combos. Ion Shell and Enchantress Creep surging them in. Hep putting the shield on them as well. This is going to be really annoying for Poseidon to deal with in the laning stage.
Meanwhile, Poseidon's going to pick themselves a Bounty Hunter. And I think this is a really good pick, because if you match up Bounty against Alchemist, Abaddon, dual melee lane, that Bounty gets to do whatever the hell he wants. There's really no way for them to kind of harass Bounty. I mean, in theory, you could threaten him with the Alchemist stun, but as long as Bounty Hunter realizes where that Enchantress is coming from, and it's not too hard with observers and just good awareness, that Bounty Hunter gets himself a quick level 6.
Yeah, and
I mean, when you pick Abaddon and Alchemist, this is kind of what happens.
And if you get a quick level 6 on Bounty Hunter, you have a lot of burst damage, mainly because you have Visage. So trade kills could go well.
Yeah. And, you know, having Track on your side is really, really helpful. Allows your Lifestealer to be that race card that he always wants to be, making that face run build even more potent. So, again, whether Poseidon will get those lane is the question. And whether we'll see Alchemist maybe even being demoted to a solo mid as a result can be a possibility as well. I haven't seen Alchemist being played by Dendi before.
I mean, I do go back to the Alienware Cup, but we had Bruto here, and it was always that's not a Dendi hero.
Yeah,
Lumi, that's not a Dendi hero. To me, Alk isn't really a Dendi hero.
Look, Lone Druid wasn't a Dendi hero.
Wow. Poseidon's banning Dendi heroes. They banned the Shadow Fiend.
Okay.
Navi, great partner for the Lifesteal. They'll remove the Storm. Poseidon doesn't have a mid yet, at least not an obvious one. So I think these are kind of your, straightforward bans, assuming that everything's going to be conventional.
Yeah, I guess Queen of Pain is your last hero in the pool that's really, really good for the Lifestealer. It works well with the Bounty Hunter, but at the same time, it is so risky to kind of draft a snowball-based lineup against Navi.
Yeah.
They're going to sign themselves to say, hey, we have 15 minutes of gameplay. If we don't win in that 15 minutes, we might as well tap out. And if you do draft Queen of Pain, that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see. I guess they have a Darkseer, Abaddon, Enchantress. I mean, these are heroes that are pretty aggressive in the lane stage. They'll go back for a DK.
So much melee.
Yeah, of course, Dragon Knight can be ranged when you really want him to, but lots of good. I feel like they have a lot of good ways to initiate is the main thing, and you've got very tanky heroes as well. Alchemist and Chemical Rage, Dragon Knight, of course, just naturally tanky. Plus, you can surge him in, and then makes for an easy Dragon Tail. Whereas you look at Poseidon, and they don't. Who goes in first for this team? Lifesteal walks in and rages somebody. They don't really have any stuns. I feel like Navi's lineup is a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah, well, well-rounded once you get into the mid game, and how do you get in there? That's the question, because they're laning with 4 melee, and that's Queen of Pain. That's I mean, Dragon Knight versus Quad mid. We know Quad is gonna win in terms of the CS war, but what we often see is the laning stage, because of bottle crawling. Dendi's not gonna. It's like whatever. I'm down 5-10 CS. But once you're in the mid game happens, I'm the one that's pushing better with a Dragon Knight. I'm the one that's stunning more in a team fight. So we see in the past that even if Dragon Knight loses the laning stage, he ends up having a bigger effects in the later game.
And Puppy is Enchantress, which means, hey, you got a Harpy Stormcrafter, all of a sudden that Queen of Pain is just completely zoned out of lane. And what should be a 1v1 in theory that goes in favor of the Queen of Pain ends up being a wash or even in favor of the Dragon Knight. So, well, with that being said, whose lineup do you like better, Lumi?
If Poseidon plays well enough in KSI, or KSI, as I think he's known as, if he makes sure he could get himself level 6, I favor their lineup more. Because this melee, Kuroki, Abaddon, Alchemist dueling is just very clunky. What is this supposed to do? Is this supposed to farm? I don't know.
Yeah, it is a bit melee heavy.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just don't know where the aggression would come from Poseidon to stop them from getting those early levels. Sure, Bounty Hunter in the mid game is an absolute terror. Same for Lifestealer. Visage is decent, even. I mean, he's pretty good even at level 1. But then they have a Chen as well. To me, Poseidon just don't have an aggressive enough lineup in the 1 to 5 stage to really punish Navi.
So what I think is, if you're Poseidon, you run your defensive trialing. Lifestealer, Visage, your Chen, whatever. Do whatever you want to do in that jungle, because a Darkseer is not going to challenge you. Whereas you put your Bounty Hunter off lane, and normally when you say I'm putting my Bounty Hunter off lane, I'll be happy if he gets level 2, 3.
And you don't think an Abaddon, Alchemist, and Enchantress can punish an offlane bounty?
I think Enchantress definitely can, if the Enchantress is not helping out Dragon Knight mid, if Enchantress is not looking for the levels. A lot of it comes to Enchantress, and obviously this is one of the best players in the world, Puppey, playing the Enchantress. I think if KIS plays well enough to dodge those smoke gangs or whatever that's coming his way, he can get very ugly very fast.
Yeah. If I feel...
But that's a lot of if.
There's a lot of ifs. Yeah. Ultimately, Alchemist does decently against a Bounty Hunter 1v1 once he has that slight level advantage.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about, dude.
Oh.
This is some equestrian shit.
Chen.
See what I mean?
Yeah, he's very athletic. What can I say?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Welcome into Game 1. It's a 2-game set for WePlay Dota 2 League action here. Season 2. On the Radiant side, Poseidon, ex-Virtus Pro, and then some, and we'll introduce them now. KIS is going to be handling your Bounty Hunter. Jottam Medved going to be on the Visage. Sakura playing the Chen. We have XX, that's TMI Wild, correct, on the Queen of Pain?
Yep.
And last but not least, we have Airman, or what is he, Illidan Stormrage?
Yeah.
Whichever one of his man of many names playing the Lifestealer.
Yeah. I hope his name of 1S81210 whatever is not a not a permanent change, because nobody wants to pronounce that.
I don't want to have to say that every game. On the Dire side, you've got your International 3 runner-ups. Na'Vi using their full roster, like you said, playing very serious Dota. Havost on the Alchemist, Puppey, the Enchantress, spending all his gold helping his team. He doesn't have a single item in his inventory. Kuroki, well, he's benefiting from that. He's sitting on the Sentries, the Observers, and the Dust. This kind of reminds me of DK back during the G1 League when teams started to run a lot of offlane Bounty Hunter where they just show up to lane and they'd have Sentries already down, Dust there, completely prepared for it. Let's see if they are now. Dendi, solo mid, DK, and last but not least, Funnick, your offlane Darkseer.
Okay, so looking at KIS's item choice, he's got Poor Man's Shield as opposed to Boots. Generally, that's kind of your, at least nowadays, your standard starting item of choice. So what he thinks is going to happen in this lane is there's going to be a ton of harass back and forth. He's going to try to go in the lane and grab himself level 2, level 3, and that's how he sees the lane proceeding. But what he doesn't know right now is that there is Sentry Dust available, and they are going to try to look to kill him level 1, level 2 very, very quick. He's actually going to give up the possibility of getting a ton of experience on top. Instead, he's going to do a little bit of pulling action, I think.
Courier snipes, nope, wants to block the Enchantress big camp, but
okay.
Ultimately, Puppey, he's looking for the Harpy.
He's pulling like this.
Yeah, places the ward and then goes to pull. Okay, this could be efficient.
What the hell is Enchantress going to do to him? Enchant and right click? He's got Poor Man's Shield.
What do you know? He gets a Dark Troll Summoner. But yeah, he's not going to be able to stop this pull by himself. So we'll see that wrap around the world pretty much. And
this is originally, I guess, invented, quote-unquote, by Admiral Bulldog. Obviously, Boba invented Dota, so maybe Boba invented this too. But Bulldog's the first player that we've seen it, and Funnick did this during TI3 against Alliance. So KSI is, or KIS is doing the exact same thing now.
And you can see Puppey really hoping for a Harpy Stormcrafter, I think, here. Not going to find it. He'll get the Kobold plus Tilt Troll Berserker. So, well, he's not getting the best creeps to put a ton of pressure out early in the mid lane. In terms of that mid lane, it's a pulled Queen of Pain against a Dragon Knight that already has his bottle. I believe Dendi did get pulled the Tangos. Indeed he did. So, bottle's coming out now for Dendi. Can Tame My Wild really punish that Dragon Knight mid?
I don't think so. He's going to try his best to make sure that he has the CS advantage. You want to get runes, double damage, haste are kind of what you're looking for, and the Bottle Crow will officially begin for Dendi.
And on that note, KSI, like you said, the pull around the world, now farming in his own jungle with the enemy creeps. The top lane so far, not pushing too much. Kuroki, you can actually see, actively denying some of these creeps. And most of them will just die to the wave, because he had I believe he had an Alpha Wolf stack, plus it's stacked into Golem. So the lane isn't going to push that hard. Funnick, off-laner in the meantime, he's actually devoting some, or he's requiring some attention from the enemy support. Yeah. So you gotta say that's a slight advantage, I think, to Na'Vi.
There's a regen rune, he's going to pick that one up.
That's a very nice rune.
Yeah. Well, I think KIS is actually on a pretty good track. He's got himself 400 gold, so by the time he gets up top, he could wait for his boots to speed. And once you get boots and Poor Man's Shield, it's somewhat difficult to actually even die. He shows himself on the mid lane, and here comes that. You gotta kill that Stormcrafter, man. Just, yeah, there you go. Blow everything on it.
It is so annoying to lane against. This spell, Chain Light, is such a low cooldown. The thing is, though, ultimately for Puppey, it's not that big of an investment. Enchant, only a 30-second cooldown, and he can do other stuff during this time. He'll wait for this next stack.
Apparently this... Wait, does this not block? Because they put Observer Ward here, and it spawned.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't block.
Okay, unless he put it after it spawned. I'm not sure. We'll see in about.
No, because he got the Dark Troll Warlord earlier.
Okay,
so it definitely doesn't block it.
So
Interesting. Well, bottom lane, Funnick's taking a lot of harassment from Jotum. Driven off the lane a bit, but he's still level 3. And this is my one problem with Poseidon's lineup as far as the lanes go, is they just can't punish the Darks here offlane at all. Some lineups, like Shadow Demon Lina, Shadow Demon Leshrac, Chen Rubik, like a lot of these combos can just get kills early on offlane Darks here, but it's not going to happen with the heroes they have. So Funnick gets a lot out of the offlane. It's now being matched for the most part by KSI, but I feel KSI could actually die top.
I agree.
Whereas I don't think that's the case for this Dark Seer.
And I think Navi's getting the greedier support, right? If you say, hey, I have Abaddon, I'm not going to zone out any enemy support or enemy offlane. That's to be understood. Whereas, KSI going for the Curry up top, not going to get the kill. Whereas you say, hey, I have Visage, I'm not able to zone out Darkseer.
I do want to point out that Havost's Midas recipe was on that courier, so if it somehow went down, that would have been a disaster. But 3-minute, 50-second Midas, and he gets it right next to the bait camp. Havost is going to be absolutely gargantuan if they don't do something about it. So far, no early aggression. There was a Wildkin for Sakura, and already, well, he's up to level 4, so once he uses this Tornado to farm the stack, he's going to be sitting level 5 or so, and that's a really great start for Chen.
It really is. I mean, once you get to level 6, maybe 5-6 minutes in, and that helps out Bounty Hunter quite a bit up top. It helps out all of your lanes, in fact. KSI kind of walking in. There is dust available, so they could, in theory, kill him with Alchemist charging up stun. Alchemist pretending, obviously, not part of that just yet, but here comes a Centaur. I think they maybe actually get a kill with Enchant, a little bit body block.
No, he had body blocked for a second, but ultimately they do need Havost there with a fairly decent stun to actually get the kill. Meanwhile, Funnick, like, what do? They can't Grave Chill him?
Yeah.
I mean, Opa wounds him.
Funnick is out of mana right now, so
they may force him to base if he doesn't have, like, a bottle on the courier, but maybe he'll just steal some charges from Dendi, I'm not sure.
In fact, Lifesteal's dropping precariously low. He got himself a Facebook and Qualm Blade, but he needs to Lifesteal his way back for some HP.
Okay, so the lanes have pretty much tipped their hand at this point. Both teams, nobody's getting a first blood. As far as CS goes, Alchemist, Havost is leading in terms of farm. Only by, it's pretty much even with the Lifestealer. But the difference is he rushed to Midas, he's maxing Grievel's Greed, and this Lifestealer, up against the offlane Darkseer, that wasn't being zoned out of lane, had to go for Phase Boots first. So he's not going for as much of a farming build for Airman. Yeah,
there's no time for Poseidon to go farming build. They're saying we're going to try to win the game early and fast, and that's why you pick a Queen and Pay mid, Lifestealer as your one-row carry, and Bounty Hunter as a very offensive kind of offlaner.
But now, to go back to what we talked about, which is that they have a lot of melee heroes, they're kind of a clunky lineup for Nav. Are they past that yet? Dragon Knight's level 6, Darkseer level 5?
We're well past that point. I mean, the fact that Bounty Hunter, yes, he is getting decent level, but so is everybody else on the Navi side. I think they're pretty much kind of shore themselves up. This is what I expect the Queen of Pain to basically dominate Dendi mid, which is not what we're seeing. We're expecting Darkseer to die multiple times on the bot lane. That's not what we saw. In fact, here comes Darkseer, full HP, full mana. They're looking to steal a couple of neutrals. Navi kind of play safe and play very well, and that's all they need to do.
This is just like a bomb waiting to go off bottom lane. You've got your Baden, Aphotic Shield level 2, and then Funnick running around with Ion Shell. Anyone who gets caught is going to take a lot of damage. Top lane,
I think you have a kill on top. Maybe?
Open Wounds is going to fly out, and are they going to be able to get the kill? Havost throwing out the stun, KSI bringing them pretty low. Where's the help? Where's the backup? There are Phase Boots on the Lifestealer. There's an Infest available. Not using it yet. And now Havost healing back up, salving through the damage. There's no lockdown. Puppy's there. Drops the slow, and that should be all she wrote. I think could have infested and then gotten the kill.
That was a big misplay coming out from Airman. He could have infested and creep, like you said, for the extra damage. Also, notice that Havost ran into the jungle where there's no incoming creep wave for him to invest.
Mid lane, Dendi really diving. Actually forces out a Hand of God.
Meanwhile, bot lane, looks like Jotum's going to give a first blood to Funnick. That's, I guess, where the Hand of God came for. But Funnick got the kill, wants a bit more. He's going right on Sakura's face. We do have Clap on that Furball. He's taking a ton of damage here. Ooh, that Chen could have just stood there and blocked for him, but, well, never mind.
Team My Wild says, get out of here. And Funnick does get blown apart. But they forced out a Queen of Pain teleport. First blood's still going to Navi. Yeah. They're going to be happy with that.
I'm surprised that Lifestealer made that TP without having track. If they had track, they 100% get that kill. And Kasi was not too far off from it, so I'm not sure what the rush was with getting that Havost kill.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's going to be a big fight mid. There's a stun coming out, braining Tame My Wild low, blinks away, living with 1 HP. That's not fatal, but in the end, well, Dendi running for the high ground gets Grave Chilled, and here comes the Cavalry. They've got track. They've got a pretty fast lifestealer. Dendi most likely giving up a 3-4 hero track kill, potentially. Actually, no! Oh my god! That was very bold by Crazy,
I don't know about
to say
that
my
one.
least.
Yeah.
You can stay in track goal range and not potentially feed away a kill, but hey, plays with fire, gets out safe.
You gotta get that track extra bonus. You can't get it if you're not nearby, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to be on top of the Dragon Knight right as Dragon Form ends.
Alright, I like the way that they're playing right now. You can see how aggressive. I don't know what that is. I can't translate that for you. But see, with Lifesteal inside,
Top
now
lane.
this time with the track, they get that kill for sure.
And Havos, sure, have your free farm, and then it's like he's King Midas, now they're just trying to choke him on all that gold. Sitting around, not even aggressively. Havos just no wards in the lane, no support in sight. Dendi just TP'd bottom, and now they're going to push bottom instead, but Havos is not getting much help, and he's not Weaver. I mean, he's a hero that can be killed at this point in the game, and gotta say, Poseidon are doing a nice job of applying pressure.
Yeah, they definitely are. Dendi uses his Dragon Form on the bot lane, which basically forces him to continue to push tier 2, because unlike a Chen on the other side, they can push whenever they want. They're not relying on their ultimate. And here comes Na'Vi. They are going to get the tier 2. I think Poseidon just backs off on defend their own tier 2, but we'll see what they want to do.
A little pressure mid from Tame My Wild, I imagine, just trying to force a TP. And the question is, oh, this bottom lane, there's a stun out on the Lifestealer, no infest available, dropping pretty fast, pops the rage, trying to tank, man fighting 2. There's a track as well, there's no infest, there is a hand of God, and he's still alive, running for the hill. This is going to turn around in a big way. Huge ult, blows up one. Dendi next in line. This should be a 4-hero track kill, but Abaddon on the backside. Kuroki manages to turn the tides a bit. Picks up the 1 kill, but hey, they might get another track kill.
They're
He's
gonna
not
get
6.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. He could actually debuff it with Fodder Shield, but he doesn't have mana, so he goes
Just
down.
blown up.
I think he could have maybe tried to deny here and go for a miscoil deny, self-deny.
While that was happening, a really nice attempt. Oh god, who's courier?
There's just too much stuff happening.
That was the Dire Courier. Sorry, multi-kill. I thought it was a courier death. Whenever I see that message coming out of nowhere, I just assume that it was like a really delayed multi-kill. But Puppy was fighting the Poseidon Chen mid, stole his centaur, almost stomped him with it, and was about to kill him, but the stomp just missed. So nice attempt there by him.
So I don't know which order it is, but when one of the heroes steals a creep from the other, it refreshes the neutral's cooldown. So I think when Enchantress steal from Chen, that happens. But when Chen steals from Enchantress, the cooldown of spells all remain.
Okay.
I think. I'm not positive on that one.
Yeah. In any case, the centaur was just slightly out of range. It did stomp, but just couldn't quite find the distance.
Alright, Sakura's going to run into Kuroki here. Not really going to get the kill, because he could Aphotic Shield off anything. Meanwhile, up on top lane, looks like a push is going to come. Tier 1 tower is going to be okay. The sun's going to come through, but here comes Tame My Wild going to work. Oh no, excuse me, that's Airman.
He's got it fast. He's going to use it this time. Down she goes. But Tame My Wild going to be the trade, and now Dendi on the run. Will they get another track kill off? Stun on the Bounty Hunter. It's not going to happen. Now the Courier does fall. Dire Courier getting picked off in the middle of no man's land, I believe. Not near the top lane, actually. Now, not done yet. They jump onto Kuroki. He's tracked. He will go down 9-3. Na'Vi are just getting slaughtered like cattle in these fights. Gold experience all starting to go Poseidon's way. And the Dire Courier did end up going down, had some wards for Kuroki, looks like.
That also went down? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath. I mean, the gold graph is just going straight up after that.
Oh, fight. Yeah, I just want you to look at C. He's sitting at 7 assists, 0 kills, but he's got a ton of gold, and that's really all coming from track. Yes, the biggest net worth in the game so far is Alchemist, but this should put the Radiant team... In fact, I'm surprised the gold graph is at 0. They should be winning so much harder because of the track kill. I think they're going to start to have the gold graph going their way when they start to push down these tier 1 towers.
There's no glyph here for Na'Vi. Are they going to be able to defend? That's the question right now. Kurokai in the middle of the fight. Now the Familiar's coming through. 1 stun, 2 stun. He's still got borrowed time. We'll pop it now. And will this end the engagement, or do they go in for round 2? They will. Test of Faith comes through. Queen of Pain ult on the backside, brings Phoenix low. I believe he'll be falling now. 1 more hit, down he goes. It's just absolute murder And now KSI trying to run away. He's going to live too. Puppy next in line. There's 4 heroes potentially falling through this fight. They're not done yet. They want everybody. Dendi hits the deck, and the only survivor is Havos, but he's found his way into the middle of the fight, and now they dive him to the well. Buyback comes 4th, I believe, or no, that was just an immediate respawn from KuroKy. He's just respawning that fast. He'll walk back out mid. Damage is done, I think. I don't know if Na'Vi are losing too many fights at this point. I mean, gold is still not out of control, but it feels like all the momentum is in Poseidon's
the gold graph is now swinging hugely upwards. That was 4 track kills for a bounty hunter. The bounty hunter filthy rich at this point, despite like having, he has 19 CS, he has face bottle and almost a drums completed. He's now going probably to teleport up top to get some farm. This lifestealer, this Queen of Pain, they are so fat despite not having too much CS. I think Havos is the only thing that carries them back. They do have a mech on the Darkseer, and that really helps out. He also needs something like a boot. Everybody needs some defensive item on Navi's side.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning as well that I don't know that Poseidon have the scariest late-game heroes. For example, you look at a Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
Even something like a Bounty Hunter. These are more of sort of utility heroes as the fights go later and later, and it does fall to the lifestealer to do all the heavy lifting. So if Na'Vi keep relatively close, and they maybe manage to sneak a Roshan, Havos gets farmed enough, Dendi gets closer to level 16, I think Na'Vi can win from behind.
I agree.
And I would say if it goes late enough, I'd actually give them the edge.
I agree. This big lead that they have, 9-kill lead, isn't really feeling like a 9-kill lead because there's a Hannah Midas going to work. But look at the net worth. It's Havos really far off ahead, and then the next 3 or 4, that's all Poseidon. So Poseidon earning a lot because of the track goal. They need to keep up the pressure. They're gonna ramp it down a little bit to give himself 3 minutes of farm or so. And then you have to go back. You cannot just decide to trade farm suddenly against Na'Vi.
Mid lane. It's going to be a Scythe of Vice Rush for Crazy, so opting... it looks like a Scythe of Vice Rush. Could be a Lincoln's, I guess, but it would be a kind of a late Lincoln's, and I'm not sure that's really the item that's going to turn the tides in this game. Na'Vi are working on the Roshan, though. 5 heroes grouped up in the pit. The Familiars are going to come out. We'll scout things out, and I guess the question is, how bad do Na'Vi want this? Can they take a fight in the pit right now? Darkseer level 9, no points in wall, just got the mech, and there's an Infest Bomb coming. I do not think Na'Vi want to fight.
Okay, Na'Vi needs to drop Centaur on top of this ramp, but I guess... well, they're somewhat afraid to go up the ramp. They don't know exactly what's there. They have no sight. They also need a D-ward, they being the Radiant. Are they going to try to walk around? There's a tower there, so they can't smoke around here.
Yeah. It looks like they're not going to force anything. They'll just start pushing out mid, start pushing out bottom. There's a tier 1 bottom to be claimed, and that's definitely something they should be able to take. They've got their own mech up on the Chen. The 3 big creeps are quite scary now. Na'Vi, decent counter push, but not overwhelming. I don't know if Na'Vi want to defend this tier 1, honestly. It's going to be very hard to do.
Blinking very aggressively up the ramp, and that's going to give up...
that's a you're ahead when moment.
Yeah.
If you're not ahead and you do that as Queen of Pain, you just die and probably get your lifestealer killed.
Or
too.
when you're Havos. He just does that regardless of whether you're in it. But,
you're Havos when.
Yeah, there you go.
You're blinking up hills all day, every day. And now there's going to be an engagement. KSI, he'll run into the middle of the Na'Vi squad, blinking forward. Queen of Pain ult hits all 3. That's a big one. But there's no follow-up.
Yeah.
It ends up being for naught. And now, well, he's out of mana.
Okay,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, they turn back, gonna get to tier 2. Everybody's fairly low, but I'm not too sure whether this tier 2 is gonna go down.
There's a glyph here. I don't know if they can even take this. I think they just need to back.
Yeah, KuroKy doing a ton of work here, healing everybody up with the things like Urn as well as Mistcoil. And that Sonic Wave hit a lot, but yeah, like you said.
It was a 3-hero Sonic Wave, but there's no stuns. This is kind of a team that just runs you down. Bounty Hunter, Phase Drums, Armlet Lifestealer. If you look at Poseidon, what stuns do they have? Familiar stuns, and that's really, and maybe Chen creeps. That's it. There's no Beastmaster Roar. There's no Magnus RP.
You know,
they are lacking in lockdown.
I'm actually not sure what Poseidon know what a stun is, because yesterday you've been drafting Abaddon, Tree and Protector OD lanes.
Yeah.
So this is familiar territories for them.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess what I'm curious to see is can Poseidon find more openings? Because they found a few earlier. But since then, it's just been Na'Vi in their comfort zone. Puppy, oh yeah, well, he's not getting out of this one. Okay. 1 slap. They get a nice track kill for 2. And if you keep that up and you're still farming, it's not like you have to take Rex now. It's more just, you don't just want to purely trade farm, because they have the Midas Alchemist with Max Greevil's Greed. You don't.
Okay, so one thing that the supports on Poseidon's side need to recognize that there is now a Shadow Blade online. They need to get detection ASAP, because I could see this team fight going pretty well for Poseidon in the beginning, and then suddenly Havos comes out get a triple kill because there's no detection.
Yeah, he's actually had the Shadow Blade for a little bit, but there is no detection now, as you pointed out. So it looks like they used their last Sentry Ward bottom earlier. Something should be coming on the Courier, and hey, it's 4th Sentry Ward, so Jodam is prepared.
Good stuff, good stuff. So, again, I really don't think, like you said, once you go in the late game, Navi's king, because of the hero potential. So, despite how well Poseidon is playing, I don't feel like they're doing enough pressure.
It's a very manageable game. It's very rare to see a team that has track gold and has a 10-kill lead. And a lot of those were multi-hero track kills, only being up 4,000 gold.
But you feel Navi's actually ahead, right?
And I want to check with towers. Towers are even. I believe there was 1 deny on Poseidon's side, but pretty much even. So yeah, this is just the power of an alchemist, I guess, where Havos, despite not having the best hero kill score, he's farming freely. And once he gets BKB, he's going to be much harder to kill in these fights.
I think in games
they don't have
like
much
these,
to deal with it.
In games like these, that's where having a Photic Shield on your team is really, really good. Because if you look at the Radiant side, they're predominantly single target, aside from that Queen of Pain ultimate, which was nice. You're using things like Track, Open Moon Soul Assumption, Grave Shield, all that stuff is single target. A great Aphotic Shield and a Mist Coil, maybe not save the target, but it makes you waste so much more time killing that original target that your team might be dying to like a wall vacuum or a Havos right click. So I think Poseidon, they can't win team fights. They have to just look for a random pickoff, and Navi knows that. So Navi just make sure they don't get pickoff, and the game should be well within their bags.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. They, especially now with the BKBs. Dendy about to... does he have his coming as well? No, Havos BKB completed. Dendy still needing the recipe, but you get double BKB. Where's the damage on Poseidon? Right now, I'd say overall... I mean, in theory, Lifestealer can be the bulk of it if he's getting to auto-attack, but...
They get the Hex.
They're going to be able to surge away from him. Again, Poseidon don't have many stuns, so I feel like this Queen of Pain is most of the damage.
Yeah.
And if you get the BKBs off, which the Scythe might prevent... but if you do get them off, then they're going to have a hard time killing either Alchemist or Dragon Knight.
So I really like the smart move, a small thing that he did there. He was farming mid with Queen of Pain, parked the Courier over here. Didn't want to show the creep wave that he picked up a Scythe, so keeping that valuable information, and then what is he going to do with it? Is he going to try to look for a gank?
Well, he worked so hard, and now he might just walk towards the rune anyway and say, screw it. No, find a haste running and head towards top.
Okay.
I would love to see an Infest Bomb here, but... like you said, Navi understand that Poseidon need kills, and Navi don't. So they're just sitting 5. They're farming 3 camps, but they're all very close together.
Okay, Roshan has not been challenged anytime soon. Maybe they feel confident now to do it. No, it's...
They just can't do it very quickly. Like, they don't have a great minus armor lineup. There's no medallion. Oh, sorry, there's a medallion on the Visage, but that's where it ends.
Okay, Dendy's teleporting in. A Blink Scythe could be a very easy kill. Are they going to go for it? No.
Well, he doesn't have his BKB yet. It would be the ideal time, but... he's playing really far back. Dendy knows that he just needs to sit back and not get caught.
Well, Blink Scythe is probably the best initiation they have. Queen of Pain goes on the high ground, waits, don't show himself again.
And the thing is, while this is happening, Havos can freely push top. The only way he would die is to that Blink Scythe, but they're not using it. They're not TPing anyone. Blinking forward, perhaps? No, not yet.
Because see on the backline here, he's going to get seen by everything. The Stomp hits him in Vis. There's a dust, and C's going to be dead. There's no rescue on this side. Well, there goes your push. They are going to get the
Havos channeling a stun, charging forward. Jodam, he's going to split to the left, gets caught out, eats a familiar stun. Now a BKB, dodging that familiar stun, and Jodam is going to fall. And Navi right next to the Roshan pit. What do you know? They might just strut straight in. And with this TP by the Queen of Pain top, that's Roche, if they want it, pretty much open.
I mean, when you play a lineup like this, you just have to play so perfect. You make a mistake, suddenly the game feels out of reach.
There's your buyback from KSI. He does TP to the bottom lane, but Roche, I feel, is just going to die before they even get there. Acid Spray doing a lot of work. Havos doesn't have Assault Caress yet, but because they TP'd this Queen of Pain top, it's going to come down to the wire. Roche dropping to about half HP, familiar, scouting things out. Throws out another clap. KSI coming in again. Remember, if he dies, well, he's used buyback as well. Big Queen of Pain, blink a little bit early, gets stunned in the pit. Now an Alk stun, being channeled, Hand of God's there. Roche is low. Aegis going to Dendy. Puppy picks up a kill. They're all going to live. Infest, and then pop back out from ISB Jam. I hate that name so much right now. Funny getting tracked up. They're chasing. They might get a few kills. There was another buyback. This one for the Queen of Pain. But end of the day, Navi do get the Aegis. So far, only losing the Enchantress. And, well, will they lose any more? Kuroki falls. Funny netted up In the end, they get 3 kills.
Yeah.
Aegis still alive, though, so not a total disaster for Na'Vi. They did force out 2 buybacks, and they held on to Aegis. I would say Na'Vi actually came out even or even slightly ahead there.
Well, they're going to lose a tier 2 top. More importantly, it was really good job by Kuroki. Whenever there's track on the hero, he aphotic shields immediately, debuffing that track. So taking away that haste, basically, taking away the vision. Eventually, those heroes do still die, but you deny the extra gold. Tier 2 will go down here, and I think that was the last leg of Poseidon. If they make any more mistake here, the game is just over. Because if you look at Hovos, look at his net worth. He is just absolutely scary.
Yeah, Hovos has not been using his buybacks this game. He's close to an Assault Crest. 3k gold, he'll have a Hyperstone. He's, what, like 1,000 gold away from completing AC?
Yeah.
So very, very close.
Now, once AC is up, he is probably unkillable.
I said 1,000. I think it's like more like 500, 600. So yeah, he's really close.
He's some X amount away, and he's going to farm the X amount.
Some X amount. No, 4,000 was right. 4,000 was right, because he doesn't have the Hyperstone yet. Yeah, once he gets it, that's the thing is, the Queen of Pain damage won't affect him because he's got a BKB, unless he gets scythed, and outside of that, it's all physical damage, and it's all from the Lifestealer, and AC is the perfect item to deal with that.
Yeah, and if you look at Bounty Hunter, he's forced to get a Black King bar. If he, for example, gets something like a Desolator, then maybe you have enough damage, but he needs survivability first.
So, Poseidon, they showed a nice opening. Their early movement was good. And now the question is, can they find a way to propel themselves from that early advantage into a win? They just don't have the best high ground team is the other thing. Like, if they had the Alchemist and he was really farmed, they could look to just try and siege the base. You know, pop Chemical Rage, hit the tower. With a lifesteal, you can do that with Rage, but this build isn't that good for killing bases. Sanjin Yasha, drums, armlet. You know, there's no Desolator, there's no Assault Cuirass here. It's more of just a constant fighting ganking build.
Yeah, and this is what you want to do, right? This is what Queen of Pain...
It fits their draft.
Yeah, it fits the draft, but whether it works or not, that's a big question. You know, with SMY, armlet, phase, drums, you are moving at max movement speed. Whether you have track on top, and track just, you know, make sure that you always have it no matter what.
They might find a kill here, though. Kuroki is really out in no man's land, but he's always got borrowed time to fall back on, and all that time you spend killing him could just completely cost you in the turnaround.
I'm guessing even if you're hexed, your bar time will still
Yeah,
trigger?
it still goes off.
Yeah, so he just doesn't care.
I mean, I think the one main way I know from, you know, that I enjoy from pubs to kill an Abaddon without having to worry about that is Culling Blade.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any axe
No axe this game.
Where's Dread when you need him? I think he's my favorite Russian player, but sadly.
He plays axe? He picks axe?
Yeah, don't you remember?
Yeah.
I think it was for rox.kis. He was playing some axe and taking some heads off. But
axe are always fun to watch.
He's casting for Starladder nowadays.
I feel like Axe really represent this game well. It's a hero that have to win the early game so hard to have any chance of winning the game late, and that's exactly what we see here from Poseidon. They're winning the early game, they're winning the mid game, but are they winning hard enough? And that's always the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that these heroes can't benefit from items. There's still room for all 3 of their cores to grow. Visage can be very potent with farm, but Na'Vi just farms a lot faster. Yeah. Dragon Knight with his AoE from the dragon form, and then obviously Alchemist. Even a Darkseer farms faster than some of these heroes. So,
and what item are they building? Right, you talked about the Lifestealer. He's building for the kind of a chasing build, hero killing build. He's not going for base siege or late game. So he can transition into it, but while that's happening, that's where Dendi gets up his 2 items as well. Yeah. Speaking of Dendi, he's got his BKB. Working on whatever items next. I imagine it's going to be a Shadow Blade, or if he wants to get even tankier. Oh, never mind. Just a Blade Mail. So I wonder what Dendi's going to get. Maybe a Heart if he wants to get tanky, but I think Shadow Blade is just the natural transition. Yeah, I don't know if Shadow Blade's as good this game as other games, mostly because they already have Surge. So I don't know if he needs it as much for the initiation. But it is just a nice cost-effective damage item, and they do already have an Assault Cuirass, so maybe that's what we'll go for. It's not a bad choice. For the time being, we're at a stalemate, and I think a stalemate does favor the Na'Vi lineup. Oh, by far it does. There's a gem on Queen of Pain, so dewarding is, you know, nice. But all these are very small advantages they're gaining. I don't think Poseidon is looking for small advantages. They're looking for a double kill in the jungle, both of them track, and then you just go siege high ground. We'll take that tier 2 up top. But they're not getting that. Na'Vi's holding hands as 5, because they recognize that as they do that, there's no way that they're going to get caught out. And in fact, we've been talking a lot about Dragon Knight and Alchemist, but now Puppey has an Aghanim Scepter, and get that Mask of Madness online, AOI 2000 style, Sing Sing style, and all of a sudden, you know, your Enchantress becomes a pretty fearsome late-game damage dealer. I'm not even sure whether he needs to.
No, I don't think he needs it. I'm just saying if they need him to be a damage dealer, he can. Yeah. So even an Enchantress out carries something like a Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I think the really important thing that you pointed out is that Havos and Dendi obviously are the targets, but now Enchantress is making himself a target. Soon Darkseer is also going to make himself a target. I think he's going to go a Blink Dagger. And obviously when you have a single target lineup with one Scythe and one Basher, you're not going to focus down 4 heroes at once. But any hero that you're leaving unintended suddenly means a Vacuum Wall, or Enchantress that's shooting down shotguns at you, or Havos that's right-clicking you. It feels like Poseidon just does not have enough to deal with everything that's pushed onto them.
Yeah, meanwhile, DD Rune is going to spawn bottom lane, and, well, they'll pick it up. Havos running in by himself, Shadowbladed up. If they caught him there, I think, if they had the lifesteal, they could get the kill, but he's all farming mid. And Phos just slap chopping away, killing off the neutrals, and he's pretty much at late game status. He could get his Abyssal Blade, but after that, you want to save for buyback, you want to save for the Aegis. He's a lot bigger than the Lifestealer, the Queen of Pain, and the Bounty Hunter. That's for damn sure.
So I think if he's looking to do all the damage by himself, he'll go Basher to basically make sure that he could kill Lifestealer. But I think Heart just kind of put him to that unkillable territory. Kuroki, Kuroki's gonna get Hex here.
Beautiful initiation. Kuroki completely caught out, but pops the borrowed time. It's not going to matter. There's no backup in sight. Down Kuroki will go. Not the most important hero, but any kill is a big kill right now. Do they go Roche or do they look to go high ground? Maybe force it a buyback. Seems like they want to go high ground. Scythe is cooling down. They'll at least want to wait for that.
It's only high ground. There's no Roche. Roche is still dead.
Oh, you're right. 2 minutes.
There's no way they get tier 2 up top as well. I'm not even sure they could siege high ground here.
They can maybe you can rage hit it a few times and then just back off, but you gotta be careful.
Off. Well then,
Nolan Fest, they'll pop back towards the top lane, and now this would ideally be where you look to catch out Havost. You infest, you TP top, but Havost is very far away. He's gone back to the base, and there's just not going to be any easy kills.
Yeah,
at least not on core heroes. At the end of the day, that's an Abaddon. He doesn't need farm particularly. It's a nice track kill, but I feel they need more.
I mean, so you gotta ask yourself a question if you're a viewer right now and say, what does it take for Poseidon to get a push on? They just kill one. It's a 5v4 situation. I guess you have to kill Dendi or Havos to make sure that you push. But if you kill one of them, they just buy back because they're so rich right now.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they don't have a tier 2, but still they're on the dire side. So getting to Roche is... They should be able to get there in time. And the other thing is Poseidon doesn't kill Roche quickly. So right. I do feel like, yeah, you need to kill one of those 2 heroes and catch them without buyback, ideally. Like, right after Avos to say bought, an Abyssal Blade or something like that. I don't know if it's going to happen, though.
Queen of Pain's going to find... Oh, is that... Enchantress's creeps?
Finds Puppy, but Puppy walking down the hill. He's got this Egg Scepter. He could pop the heal pretty soon. He's just not that easy of a kill.
That Centaur's just... Ooh.
And now, blinking into the trees. I think they know he's caught. Haven't spotted him leaving those trees yet. Blinks again. Okay. And he will get away.
I mean, right now they're wasting a Queen of Pain and Lifestealer's time. They're not farming. They're just taking a tour of the map, which is...
Meanwhile, Havost, he's farming at the enemy tier 2.
Yeah. The Midas still running. He's got 6k gold in the back. Basher, Heart, anything will be good. Obviously, saving for buyback is utmost priority.
It's just hard to fight openings. I don't know that I fault Poseidon too much. I feel like Navi's
play well.
Navi's just, like you said, holding hands. Oh, they scythe, but they can't go on Havost like that. And wisely they do back off. Yeah. There's a Photic Shield to turn it around, and as soon as he gets BKB off, unless you have him low enough that he just can't fight, which means 10% HP, you're just gonna get crushed.
Yeah, they were very.
That was wise to back off.
Yeah, they were lucky that there's nothing that's gonna punish them, like a Abyssal Blade or something like that, like a stun one and go for a kill.
Yeah, he gets the Basher now, but he is still reserving buyback for the time being. And it's all about this next rush, respawning in 20 seconds.
Yep.
Poseidon also aren't that great at pushing out the lanes. I mean, Queen of Pain, like, all these heroes are okay, but Na'Vi have quite a bit more AoE, and also just heroes that are harder to kill, so Creep Equilibrium, I think, should be favoring them. And now, let the tango for Roshan begin.
Well, I'm not really sure whether tango...
To me, the way it's more of a slow dance, I guess.
One team is gonna walk in and take it. The other team, whoa.
So speaking of walking in and taking it, KSI walks right into 3. There isn't a gem up here, at least not yet. And now Puppy on the run. Dendi in the middle of the fight. Havos getting set up. Can they bring him down in time? They will. I imagine buyback's coming in just a second. It does, and that's perfect. You force the buyback on the Alchemist. Just back off, reset, and reload. Well, now,
Dendi.
do they lose anyone else? Shadowblade Dendi. They'll find Jotum, but hey, Alk for a Visage, not a bad trade at all.
Ooh, Ghost Scepter still alive right now. Here comes the Lifestealer. He's going not for. He's gonna go for Funnick. Funnick surged himself
No
back
bashes. Couldn't find a bash. Now Dendi trying to fight off the familiars. In comes your BKB, Queen of Pain. Havo still not really doing too much damage in the fight. Running for his life, actually. And they're bringing them down. They get another kill. Havost is low. He doesn't have chemical range. He just bought back. The Courier's going to fall. And Havost might die. One more hit. Maybe two. He's going to drop to the Scream. And there's no buyback. Dendi Shadowbladed up. Gem might even drop here. And they might take Roche. What a turn of events. They're completely crushing through Na'Vi. The buyback, then dying again. Didn't have chemical rage. 4 hit the deck. Call it 5 with the buyback. And the way to Roshan, or maybe just the way to Rax, lies open.
I cannot explain how big of a turnaround. This game was Navi's until they got caught out in that moment. I gotta just turn to Kuroki and Funnick, as we saw Dendi being, was it tracked or slow? He got stunned for whatever reason. And both Surge as well as Photic Shield went on Dendi. And then after that, the Scythe went on Havos. And Havos had no backup. So his team kind of went over eager to protect Dendi. And then as a result, his carry had to fall. And that really led how the team fight broke out.
And he didn't have chemical rage.
No,
I mean, you just see Alchemist, as beastly as he is with it on, very vulnerable with it off.
Yeah, and that's why I said maybe you just go for Heart if you just want to not die. But he went for the Basher instead. So suddenly things look very, very badly for Na'Vi at this moment.
Yeah, the tier 3 is going to fall. They don't have either of their cores for 10 seconds. Now, to be fair, Poseidon has not taken Roche. Maybe Na'Vi can pull that out of the hat, but, well, they'll have to be careful about going for it. Low is your life stealer. Being 4-staff back, are they going to send him home? The one thing is if they send him home, maybe Na'Vi just go right into Roche. But, well, they're not going to see it.
Yeah, they don't know whether he's being sent home. So I think what Lifestealer's going to do, he should buy a salve and use it right now. There's no reason to save that 100 gold. Queen of Pain teleports up top and, you know, farms that one. And the straight rush into Roche is from Na'Vi.
Yeah, they know they need this, especially after giving up Rax and using a buyback on Havos and him dying again. It's really important to secure it. Also, I want to point out, Na'Vi did not have their level 3 Dragon Knight ultimate, and it's coming soon. If he gets it, I feel that could be a total tide turner. Phase Drum's track, it's a lot of move speed, but, you know, that attack speed, move speed slow makes a big difference against a one-core melee lineup.
Tracking him up, Lifestealer's going to walk right back in, right-clicking away on Puppey. Puppey just immediately melts. Now he turns on Kuroki. Looks like Queen of Pain dies. He's going to buy back a Volts. Big and in charge. He's going to be right-clicking away. Oh, no. Funnick Blink. Vacuum wall on top. Looks like team fight going well for Dendi and the rest of his team. See, going on Dendi, though. Dendi's going to be dead. And
while that was happening, the Life Stealer just gets completely chain stunned. Bashed repeatedly. The slap-chopping Alchemist makes Chop Suey out of Poseidon. Aegis still on Havos. And this is the issue with playing against this kind of lineup. Even if you take one lane of Rax, I think Na'Vi right now, they should have level 16 on Dragon Knight. They do. Their next 5-man, I want to say they can just go straight down mid.
That was TMI making huge. Look at him. He's got Sonic Wave online. He's got Hex online. He's got BKB online. He literally just blinked in, got stunned, and died.
Yeah, if he BKBs there,
or did anything before that. I mean, that was the second time, right? The first time in the Roshan, he did the exact same thing. So I'm not sure whether that was a throw or something, but they could have won that fight, I think.
I mean, you compare that to what happened for LGD International in WPC Ace earlier today. Spoiler alert, by the way. Cover your ears for 5 seconds if you don't want to hear. But Pycat, I mean, was making all the right decisions at the pit, stealing the Aegis, turning the game around. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been there. But they do still have the 1 Rax advantage, and if they can wait out the Aegis, well, I mean, I don't think they're out of it, but I mean, it should have been their game at that point.
Right. If you're waiting out the Aegis, that means there's going to be another or maybe even 2 tier 4 items on Havos at least. Dendi's going to get an item. Puppey's going to get an item. Hell, if Kuroki gets a Blink Dagger, suddenly you have multiple ways to deal with any initiation with a Photic Shield. Looks like we're going to see a smoke gank. One thing to point out is that Scythe of Vice is not even a for sure initiation anymore. Because Darkseer has a Blink Dagger, he could blink to whoever that's in trouble, just surge him out. Because Hex does not slow you down when you're surged. So they have many ways to save their target. Just make sure that Surge as well as a Photic Shield don't go on the same target.
Yeah, and they still don't have the Abyssal Blade, unfortunately. Airman has not managed to complete it, being forced to use quite a bit of his time just infest inside the Queen of Pain. You look at his CS, and 180 in 37 minutes, it's like, what, 5 CS a minute? It's just not that impressive. And in fact, I think it looks like he might be skipping the Abyssal.
This courier is being found right now. Sitting at 14 HP.
That's got the AC.
Oh!
Their Assault Cuirass. Oh boy.
Okay.
They were 200 gold away from the Assault Cuirass. He just needed the Hyperstone. And now they will not have it for 3 minutes.
They will have buyback, which is the, I guess,
Can't buy back the courier though, Louis. That's
No. They'll have buyback on the Lifestealer because he didn't buy the...
Yeah, but you would much... I mean, I think you need the extra damage now. You're up against an AC, against a lot of physical damage from Navi. You need your own.
Okay.
Well, they'll have to wait it out. They don't want to fight now anyway.
Yeah.
Havosta's Aegis.
It's really hard to say whether they want buyback or AC. I almost want to say you want buyback in this case, but I don't think we are going to see a fight regardless, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and if they weather the storm, then they'll have the Assault Cuirass up.
Centaurs, run, my friends. Why are you
What?
there? What in the actual world?
They were pushing in mid lane earlier, and now they're feeding.
Okay, this is what we call a muta split.
Dendi has Mercy. He's going to let this one live. But it's not going to do much the rest of this game. Well, actually, 2 living. There's one all the way on the right side of the map. It's just outside the Dire base.
All right.
So, well, end of the day, you look at gold and experience very even. Navi are down what really matters, 1 lane of Rax. They're up the Aegis. They have their key levels. I would say most of their key items. Havost is pretty much 6-slotted. Maybe you replace the Aegis if you die, get Boots of Travel, but that's about it. Navi, I think, ball's kind of in their court. If they don't do anything with this Aegis, and Poseidon have one good fight, that's Aegis for them, and that's probably 2 lanes of Rax in game.
Do you think that's what Navi's thinking though? Maybe Navi's Kuroki. He's fine. He's got borrowed time.
I love this. 40 minutes in, already down a lane of Rax, just going to ward by himself. They could maybe dive, but too risky to consider. And now Havost, deep in enemy territory.
Abyssal. Oh no. Queen of Pain, what do you do, my friend? Blink, vacuum back, that's going to get Sakura's, while the send back, the BKB, oh, that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, that was real close. Havost, he didn't really channel the stun at all. I mean, I thought he was going to use the Abyssal and then let the stun channel a bit.
I'm pretty sure he thought he got the kill, and I thought so too.
Yeah, he just needed one more bash. Didn't get it. And meanwhile, KSI just going to head straight towards the top lane. Mid lane's been pushed out. They're stalling nicely, and I mean, look at the Centaur. They didn't. Dendi, he showed Mercy earlier. This is why you don't show the Centaur Mercy. Now it's pulling the waves back. Bottom lane's pushing in, and Navi
some sick pushing
being stalled. This is a beautiful stall.
Oh man,
I thought they just gotta wait the Aegis out, and then they're. I don't know if they're right back in it, but it's a lot more comfortable.
I thought I'll never live this day to see a Centaur Chen split push, but we're seeing it.
He really is a conqueror. I mean, he's a conquistador.
Oh, that thing's gonna die very soon.
You've done your job, noble Centaur. You may now rest in peace.
Okay.
And he shall.
Have you ever seen the living armor's split push? The living armor, the tanking creep, and that wave slowly pushes in. It just gave me a.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah, or even living armor like a Chen creep or something.
Yeah.
I feel if you have to resort to that, it's pretty dire straits.
I mean, hey man, you know, Poseidon's trying to pull out a win here.
Yeah, and this is for Navi especially. You know, you don't want to be in a position where you're in the middle of the pack and then you have one bad match and maybe you lose a tiebreaker. The way this format works is only 2 out of 5 teams move on. So 2-0, good start for them, but they'll have to play some good teams up in the coming days. So they want to take every possible game.
Yeah,
this one hangs in the balance.
And this is Poseidon's last series. So if they get 2-0 Navi, they put themselves 6-2 and guaranteeing themselves to move on. So this is a big series. I think if Poseidon get themselves 1 win, they're still looking pretty good at a score of 5-3. But obviously they want the 2 and guarantee. And
now the Aegis still has a little bit of time left. It's or sorry, did it just expire? Yeah, it did. So Havost now up to 5k gold. He'll want to save for buyback, but beyond that, yeah, I think Butterfly is a great choice. There is a Scythe and Queen of Pain, but you look at Poseidon. Ultimately, the bulk of their damage is physical damage from the Lifestealer, and your Butterfly is going to help you against that.
Yeah, or maybe just Heaven's Halberd if he wants the.
It's not. I guess it's not the best item. There's no. It still gives you the evasion, but the disarm's not really going to help you against Lifestealer.
Well, if Lifestealer's not rage, then.
That's true.
Yeah, it just comes down to.
But you can always rage it off.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. For the time being, the bottom lane getting pushed in. Poseidon just waiting, I guess, for the next Roshan, perhaps. Not wanting to force anything. The last time they did, it felt like it could have cost them a lot more. But, I mean, it's turning into a bit of a farm fest here, Lumi. It was action-packed through the mid-game. But the beginning and then now the end, sort of the latest portions have been fairly slow.
Yeah, and Farmfest and the kind of broad Dairycraft favors Navi because of the late game potential.
And they have an Ags Darkseer as well. I mean,
Jesus.
there's not that many heroes that are particularly vulnerable to Darkseer's wall, but any hero is great to have. And hey, you might get an extra Vlads for your bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Or from the bounty hunter for your team.
I think Kuroki's got Vlad, so kind of a moot point there.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes he does. Good point, Louis.
So, yeah, I think if Kasi gets caught here, he has to force to use his buyback. If anybody gets caught here, they have to force to use the buyback, and this is a good time to check how many buybacks we have. So pretty much everybody on the Radiant side has one, except...
Like just the Visage who doesn't. That's
Yeah.
it. They'll surge in Denny towards the top lane, looking to catch out. Oh no, this could be bad. They just need a Dragon Tail. Gets it off. There was no BKB. Really slow reactions. Now a vacuum, but Blink, BKB, and will manage to prevail. They force out a Hand of God for the cost of basically nothing.
Oh, they want to fight this after all the spells on cooldown. They're going on Dendy. Dendy's working to do some damage. Meanwhile, Lifesteal comes right back out. They're going to focus on Visage. Visage is going to be fine. There's going to be a Aphotic Shield debuffing it. And look at the damage output. Lifesteal's still alive. Big sandback. He's going to be okay. So nobody down just yet. John M going up on the high ground. BKB being used on Havos. And everybody just resets. Dragon Form, by the way, taking away.
Yeah, Havos, though, is like not even getting tickled in these fights.
Well, he is going to get tickled if he doesn't have his ultimate, which is going to be down very soon,
That's
right?
true. Yeah, in fact, the ultimate, well, he's got a fresh cooldown. He can use it again, but not choosing to yet. And I think for Navi, you could just put Alk in the front lines, have Kuroki behind him, and if they jump on him, you Aphotic Shield him.
Yeah.
Removes your bashes, is going to remove your Scythe as well.
And then Funnick, you do the same thing. Jump on him and Funnick surges, so he just runs away. Because
Navi don't want to take any risky fights, though. They only want to take a fight where they can just get a clear pick and a blatant advantage, so they're going to back off.
yeah, that's a very, very lucky dodge. To me, this game, Tame My Wow has not impressed me on his Queen of Plane play. There was... That one getting caught was suspect, because he definitely could have popped the BKB and made sure he got alive, but still, no harm, no foul. Is gonna go back and get farm. I wonder what he's gonna be saving up for. 3,600 gold. I think a shotgun here would be pretty good.
Yeah, and the nice thing is whoever the Alchemist goes on, you just
Shotgun,
you can always Ethereal Blade your teammate. Or if the Alchemist BKB is down, you can look to blow him up.
Yeah, I think
Because Havost isn't, his HP pool is kind of low. I mean, as far as an Alchemist goes, like he could have a heart, he could have a Manta. His only real HP item is a BKB. Okay. So shotgun, I like that choice. Really late game Queen of Pain. You could go Dagon 5 Ethereal Blade and just slaughter anyone.
Alright, meanwhile, we're going to see another Roshan happening very soon, and it's worse for my Queen of Pain to blink in.
This
She's not there yet.
While they're busy amassing forces for Roche, Navi just strut in and take it. That's Alchemist for you.
Well, now
just
suddenly
demolishes the Roche.
things gets complicated. Dendy picks up the Aegis, which not exactly the worst situation, considering that if you kill him, he doesn't have his Dragon Form.
And Havost has Boots of Travel buyback as well. I think that's the main thing. So
Yes.
they don't give him Aegis. They know even if he dies, he Boots of Travel, buyback, immediately back into the fray.
Oh, Sakura,
and now they're going deep.
Oh, they're going to catch him out, and he's going to get blown up. Look at the damage output. Dendy's going to be right-clicking away in the front line. He doesn't care. Where's the Abyssal? No Abyssal just yet. Avos goes on high ground. Stuns himself. No, he's got the BKB. He stuns nobody. All right, that's awkward. Chen bites back.
Nobody gets stunned, and now they pop the Chemical Rage. Havost, I imagine they keep on pushing here. Queen of Pain ultimate is still available. Bounty Hunter should be spamming out track constantly. Dendy, no BKB for him. That's the only, as well as for Havost. The BKBs are down, but they're still tanky in spite of that. There's always a Aphotic Shield just mauling this tower. Somebody's got to go in, and they will now. On the back lines, they try to kill Funnick off in a hurry. He's got cheese. He gets it off. Now the fight turns. It was again an Aphotic Shield from Kuroki, keeping him alive and possibly turning the tides of this fight. Now a stop, catching out the Lifestealer. In the midst of it all, Havost finally joins the party. He already killed off the Visage. Now the Lifestealer will fall. There's a buyback available. It will be used immediately. Sakura on the run, up to the high ground.
Tame My Wow misclicked his Ethereal Blade. He did not shoot it on his Lifesteal. He shot it on the Dragon Knight. Tame My Wow. Oh my goodness. Come on.
It's not been his game, not BKB when he jumped into the
Yeah.
Roach Pit. Now that, and now they're not done. This Lifesteal just bought back, bashed up, brought down, and that might just be a flat-out GG. No Lifestealer for 80 seconds, and Navi are going to pull it out of the hat. Bend but don't break. Defense from them. Finally, they found one opening, And on the back of that, the game was theirs.
Yeah, it was very well played by Navi, but Poseidon, it felt like they had many ways, many avenues to take this game, but they just dropped it.
This is what we, to be fair, this is kind of what their lineup could do, is be behind all game, go down 10 kills, still keep up and farm, and also having the dire advantage and having, I think, the two more useful late game carries in Alec and DK. You just win those fights late. And I gotta say, for me, I think their MVP is actually Kuroki. Those aphotic shields were really clutch. Debuffing the Scythe of Vice multiple times, debuffing the bashes from Lifestealer. He was always there when you needed him.
I just like him warding in the high ground, 40 minutes in, walking the enemy jungle, didn't care.
Just casually.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the only support hero you could do something like that with.
So Navi take this one. Now they're 3-0. This drops Poseidon to, I believe, 4-3.
Yeah.
So we can take an updated look at our brackets, our groups, and quick work from Kawa there for Group D. So Poseidon 4-3, still very much in the running in the group, but they'll want to try and take one more game here, at least 1-1 split with Navi.
Okay. Yeah, that's if they take that one game, they have a chance of moving on.
Yeah, not guaranteed, but it looks decent for them at that point. So, guys, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we will be live. It's going to be Navi versus Poseidon Game 2. It's not a best of 3. It's just a flat 2-game set for the group stages. So, one more game coming up. We'll be back for that in just a few moments.